The massive alien ships dropped out of space like falling stars. Thousands of them filled the dark sky above Earth. Their metal hulls shined in the sunlight. Strange lights blinked across their surfaces. These were not human ships. Admiral Kang. Daeho sat in his chair on Luna Station. He was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started ringing. The coffee was still hot in his hands when Lieutenant Park Soo-jin ran up to him. "Sir, we have visitors," Soo-jin said. She was trying not to smile. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed she found something funny. Daeho looked at the big screen in front of him. The alien fleet was huge. Ship after ship filled the display. Some were as big as cities. Others looked like giant weapons with engines attached. All of them had their guns pointed at Earth. "How many?" Daeho asked. "About 12,000 ships, sir. Maybe more. They're from different species. We can see at least 10 different ship designs." Daeho nodded. He took another sip of his coffee. "Any messages?" The communication officer, Commander Yoon Tae-woo, pressed some buttons on his desk. Static filled the room. Then a voice spoke. It was deep and proud. The words came through the universal translator. "Humans of the planet you call Earth. We are the Galactic Coalition. You have been judged dangerous to peace in the galaxy. Your people spread too fast. Your ideas are wrong. You must give up your world now. You have 72 of your Earth. Hours. If you do not surrender, we will destroy everything." The voice continued. "Do not think your simple weapons can stop us. We have plasma cannons that can melt mountains. We have shields that can stop any attack. We have conquered 100 worlds. Your primitive technology cannot match our power." The message ended. Silence filled the command center. Everyone looked at Admiral Daeho. He stared at the screen for a moment. Then he started to laugh. It was a small laugh at first. Just a chuckle. But it grew bigger. Soon Daeho was holding his sides. Soo-jin began to giggle. Then Tae-woo joined in. Within minutes, the entire command center was full of laughter. Captain Lee Bo-ra wiped tears from her eyes. "Did they just call us primitive?" "I think they did," said Specialist Kim Do-yeon. He was looking at the scan reports. "Sir, their ships are about 300 years behind our current civilian technology." This made everyone laugh even harder. Daeho had to put down his coffee cup before he spilled it. "Send a reply," Daeho said when he could speak again. "Tell them we received their message. Ask if they need directions to the nearest gas station." Soo-jin giggled as she typed the message. "Should I also ask if they want to buy insurance for their fleet?" "Why not?" Daeho said. "Be polite about it." Down on Earth, people were starting to notice the alien ships. News reporters pointed their cameras at the sky. Children stopped playing to look up. Adults came out of their houses and offices. In Neo-Seoul, engineer Jang Hee-jin was walking to work when she saw the first news report on a street screen. The reporter looked very serious. "This is breaking news. Thousands of alien ships have appeared above Earth. They have demanded our surrender. Government officials are meeting to discuss the situation." Hee-jin stopped walking. She looked up at the sky. She could see some of the larger ships as tiny dots against the blue. Other people around her were doing the same thing. "Aliens," said an old man standing next to her. "Finally, I was wondering when they would show up." "Do you think they're friendly?" asked a young woman. "They don't sound friendly," Hee-jin said. "But they don't sound very smart either." Within an hour, the streets were full of people looking up. Food trucks started selling alien invasion burgers and cosmic coffee. Street artists drew pictures of the alien ships. Children played games where they pretended to be aliens. Most people seemed more curious than scared. Some were taking selfies with the alien fleet in the background. The alien ships stayed in formation above Earth. Their weapons remained pointed at the planet. But nothing happened. They seemed to be waiting. Back on Luna Station, more reports came in from around the world. Every major city was calm. Stock markets went up instead of down. Some companies were already planning alien-themed products. "Sir," said Communication Officer Tae-woo, "we're getting another message from the aliens. Put it through, Deho said. The same deep voice filled the room. But now it sounded confused. Humans of Earth. We do not understand your response. Why are you not afraid? Why do your people continue their normal activities? Do you not understand that we will destroy your planet? Deho looked at Sujin. She was trying not to laugh again. They really don't know, do they? She whispered. Know what? Asked Captain Bora. About us. About what we really are. What we can really do. Dr. Cho Min-ho arrived on Luna Station 3 hours after the aliens first appeared. He was Earth's chief expert on alien life. He had been studying space signals for 20 years. This was his first chance to actually talk to aliens. Have they said anything else? He asked Deho. Just more threats. They keep asking why we're not scared. What should we tell them? Deho thought for a moment. The truth, I suppose. But gently. We don't want to hurt their feelings. Cho nodded. He walked over to the communication station. Open a channel, he said. This is Dr. Cho Min-ho of Earth. We welcome you to our solar system. We appreciate your impressive fleet. However, there may be some confusion about human capabilities. Would you be interested in peaceful talks? The response came quickly. Human, your words are lies. You seek to trick us with false confidence. We have scanned your world. Your weapons are simple, your ships are slow, you cannot deceive us. Cho looked puzzled. What weapons did you scan? Your military bases, your space stations, your orbital platforms. Oh, said Cho. He looked at Deho. They scanned our old equipment, the stuff we keep for historical displays. That would explain a lot, Deho said. The alien voice spoke again. You have 60 hours remaining. Use this time to prepare your surrender. We are not cruel beings. Those who cooperate will be relocated to suitable worlds. Your species will survive, but Earth will belong to the Coalition. The transmission ended. Cho shook his head. They really think we're primitive. Should we show them our real capabilities? Asked Sujin. Not yet, Deho said. Let's see what they do first. Maybe we can solve this without anyone getting hurt. He looked out the window at Earth below. The blue and green planet looked peaceful and beautiful. The alien ships hung above it like dark clouds. Besides, he added with a small smile, this is the most interesting thing that's happened in years. I want to see how it plays out. On Earth, the first day of the invasion ended with street parties. People celebrated humanity's first contact with alien life. Restaurants served special alien-themed meals. Children went to bed excited about what tomorrow would bring. The aliens waited in their ships, confused by the human response. They had conquered many worlds, but they had never seen anything like this. Usually, planets surrendered quickly or fought desperately. Earth was doing neither. As night fell over half the planet, the alien fleet remained in position. Their weapons stayed ready. Their shields stayed up. But deep in their ships, some alien commanders were beginning to wonder if they had made a mistake. They did not know it yet, but they were about to learn something important about humans, something that would change everything they thought they knew about war, power, and what it meant to be truly advanced. Supreme Commander Vorthak stood on the bridge of his flagship. His crystal skin reflected the lights from the control panels around him. He was the leader of the Nexari people and the head of this coalition fleet. He had conquered 16 worlds in his lifetime. He had never seen anything like the humans. Status report, he ordered. His voice was hard and cold. The human planet continues normal operations, said his tactical officer, a thin being with 4 arms. Their space traffic has actually increased. More ships are flying between their moon and planet than before we arrived. And their military response? None, sir. They have sent no warships to meet us. Their defense platforms are not powered up. Their orbital weapons are offline. Vorthak's large eyes narrowed. They mock us. Prepare the punishment beam. We will destroy one of their cities as an example. Sir, said his communication officer, we are receiving thousands of transmissions from the planet. Surrender messages? No, sir. Entertainment broadcasts, music, something called memes, and food recipes. Vorthak stared at the communication officer. Food recipes? Yes, sir. Many humans are sending cooking instructions. They seem to want to know what we like to eat. Some are offering to prepare meals for us. The bridge fell silent. In all his years of conquest, Vorthak had never been offered dinner by his enemies. There is more, sir, the communication officer continued. We are receiving thousands of messages from something called social media. Humans are posting pictures of our fleet. They are making jokes about us. Some are raiding our ships. Raiding our ships? Yes, sir, on appearance and design. Most reviews are positive. One human said our flagship looks very stylish. Vorthak felt confused. This was not how invasions were supposed to work. Down on Earth, Dr. Cho Min-ho was preparing for another attempt at communication. He sat in his office at the Seoul Space Center. Through his window, he could see people in the streets looking up at the alien ships. Many were taking pictures. His assistant, Captain Lee Bo-ra, brought him coffee. Any luck with the translation protocols? I think so. The aliens use a fairly simple command structure in their language, very military, very formal. I don't think they understand casual communication. That might explain why they're so confused by our response. Cho nodded. They expect fear and formal surrender. Instead, we're treating this like a cultural exchange. He opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. This is Dr. Cho Min-ho again. We would like to invite a small group of your people to visit our planet. We can show you our culture and discuss any misunderstandings. The response came quickly. Vorthak's voice filled the room. Human Cho. Your people's behavior confuses us. We have threatened to destroy your world. Why do your people laugh? Why do they send us pictures of food? Why do they continue their normal lives? Cho thought carefully about his answer. We laugh because we are not afraid. We send you food pictures because we want to be good hosts. We continue our normal lives because that is what humans do. We adapt. You are not afraid of our weapons? We respect your weapons, but fear is not useful. Fear makes people stupid. We prefer to stay smart. There was a long pause. When Vorthak spoke again, his voice sounded different, less certain. We have scanned your world. Your technology is primitive. Your weapons are weak. How can you not be afraid? What technology did you scan? Cho asked. Your military installations. Your space ports, your defense systems, Cho frowned. He pulled up a map on his computer. Which installations? Vorthak gave coordinates. Cho checked them against his database. His frown became a smile. Ah, I understand now. You scanned our museums. Museums? Places where we keep old things. The locations you scanned are historical sites. We keep old ships and weapons there to remember our past. Silence from the alien fleet. You see, Cho continued, we thought you knew about our current technology. We assumed you had done proper research before coming here. Your current technology? The systems we actually use now, not the old stuff we keep in museums. On the alien flagship, Vorthak turned to his science officer. Run deeper scans. Look for hidden installations. The science officer worked at his station for several minutes. His expression changed from confidence to confusion to worry. Sir, he said slowly, I think we may have made an error. What kind of error? The humans have technology we cannot identify, power sources we do not understand, materials that should not exist. Vorthak felt something cold in his stomach. Explain. Their moon station is not what it appears to be. It is generating power levels beyond our measurement capabilities. And sir, there are structures in their system that our sensors cannot properly detect. Hidden bases? No, sir. I think they are using technology so advanced that our sensors cannot recognize it as technology. Back on Earth, the reaction to the alien invasion had become a global celebration. In Tokyo, people were having first contact festivals. In London, scientists were giving lectures about xenobiology. In New York, artists were creating alien-inspired sculptures. Jang Hye-jin was at home watching the news coverage. Her apartment overlooked the Han River. Through her window, she could see one of the larger alien ships hanging in the sky like a dark moon. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her friend Park Min-seo, who worked at the Mars colony. "Are you seeing this?" the message said. "The aliens think we're primitive. Should we tell them about the dimensional drives?" Heejin typed back, "Not yet, this is too funny. Did you see the memes? The one where they compare the alien ships to our old shuttles? Hilarious." Heejin smiled. She looked up at the alien ship again. The humans on Mars were laughing too, and probably the humans at Alpha Centauri, and the research teams in the Andromeda Galaxy. The aliens had no idea how far humanity had spread, or how advanced they had become. On Luna Station, Admiral Kang Daeho was meeting with his senior staff. The mood was relaxed but professional. "Should we show them one of our real ships?" asked Lieutenant Sujin. "Not yet," Daeho said. "Let's see if we can resolve this peacefully first." "What if they attack?" asked Commander Taewoo. "Then we'll protect ourselves. But I'd rather avoid that. They seem like decent beings who just made a mistake." Captain Bo-Ra looked at the tactical display. "Their ships are well built for their technology level. Clean designs, efficient use of space. They're not evil, just behind the times." "By about 3 centuries, added Specialist Do-Yun. Daeho nodded. "Which makes this our problem to solve carefully. We don't want to humiliate them. That would make future relations difficult. So what do? We wait. We stay polite. We hope they figure out the truth gently." But the aliens were not figuring out the truth gently. On his flagship, Vorthak was becoming more frustrated and confused by the hour. "Run the scans again," he ordered. "Sir, we have run them 12 times. The results are the same. The humans have technology we do not understand. Then find technology we do understand. Show me their weapons." "Sir, we cannot find their weapons." "They must have weapons. All species have weapons." "Yes, sir. But we cannot locate them. Either they are hidden by technology beyond our sensors, or what? Or their weapons are so advanced that we do not recognize them as weapons." Vorthak stared at the view screen showing Earth. The blue planet looked peaceful and harmless, but his instruments were telling him that this harmless world contained power that his fleet could not match. For the first time in his military career, Supreme Commander Vorthak began to wonder if he had made a terrible mistake. On Earth, night was falling again. The second day of the invasion was ending. Streetlights came on in cities around the world. The alien ships remained in the sky, now familiar sights. Children pointed at them before going to bed. Adults discussed them over dinner. Scientists studied them with fascination. No one was afraid. And slowly, carefully, the truth was beginning to dawn on both sides. The humans were not primitive, and the aliens were not as advanced as they thought. Supreme Commander Vorthak was angry. 3 days had passed since the Coalition fleet arrived at Earth. 3 days of confusion and strange human behavior. He needed to show these humans that the Coalition was serious. "Target the human military. Station in Sector 7, he ordered. His crystal skin was glowing brighter than usual. This happened when he was upset. "Sir, that station appears to be abandoned," said his tactical officer. "Perfect. We will destroy it as a demonstration. The humans will see our power and finally understand." The tactical officer checked his instruments. "Sir, the station is very old. Our scans show it has been empty for years. Even better, we show our strength without killing anyone. Prepare the main cannon." On the bridge of the Coalition flagship, alien crew members moved quickly to follow orders. The massive ship turned slowly to face the old human station. It was just a small structure floating in space between Earth and Mars. The humans had used it for mining asteroids long ago, then abandoned it when they found better methods. The main cannon began to charge. Energy flowed through the ship's power systems. Lights flickered as power was redirected to the weapon. This was the Coalition's most powerful weapon, capable of destroying entire cities. On Earth, millions of people watched through telescopes and cameras. The news channels showed the alien ship preparing to fire, but instead of panic, there was excitement. "Look, they're going to shoot at something," said a reporter in London. "This should be quite a show." In Neo Seoul, Zhang Hiejin was at work in her engineering office. She and her colleagues had stopped working to watch the live coverage. "They're targeting the old mining station," said her co-worker Kim Hana. "That old thing? We've been meaning to clean it up for years," Hiejin replied. "Free demolition service," laughed another engineer. On Luna Station, Captain Han Woo-jin was watching through the station's main telescope. He commanded one of the defense platforms orbiting the moon. His crew gathered around to see what would happen. "That's the old Ceres station," said his navigator. "Been empty for at least 10 years. Nice of them to clean it up for us," Woo-jin said. He made a note to send a thank you message later. The alien cannon finished charging. A brilliant beam of energy shot across space. It was beautiful in its own way, pure white light that seemed to bend space around it. The beam struck the old mining station and vaporized it instantly. A brief flash of light, and then nothing remained but glowing particles. The alien fleet waited for the human response. Surely now the humans would understand. Surely now they would be afraid. Instead, they got a message from Admiral Kang Daeho. "Thank you for clearing away that old debris. That station has been scheduled for removal for years. We appreciate the assistance. Please send us an invoice for cosmic cleanup services rendered." On the Coalition flagship, Supreme Commander Vorthak stared at the message. His tactical officer looked confused. His communication officer seemed nervous. "They are thanking us?" Vorthak asked. "Yes, sir. And they want to pay us for destroying their military installation." "It was not a military installation?" "Apparently not, sir. Our deeper scans confirm it was abandoned mining equipment." Vorthak felt something he had never felt before during an invasion. He felt embarrassed. At the Planetary Defense Analysis Center in Geneva, Lieutenant Commander Shin Aira was reviewing the alien weapon data. She had been studying their technology since the fleet arrived. Her report was almost complete. "Interesting plasma cannon design," she said to her assistant. "Very efficient for their technology level. How does it compare to our systems?" "Well," Aira said, looking at her calculations, "it's about as powerful as the mining lasers we used 300 years ago. Maybe a bit less efficient. Should we be worried?" "Not really. It's good craftsmanship for their tech level, but it's not a threat to anything we build now." She finished typing her report and sent it up to Admiral Daeho. The summary was simple. The alien weapons were advanced for their time period, but that time period was centuries behind current human capability. On Earth, the reaction to the weapon demonstration was not fear, but interest. Scientists wanted to study the energy beam. Engineers discussed the efficiency of the alien power systems. Students wrote papers about plasma cannon technology. Some humans were actually impressed by the light show. Social media filled with comments, like "pretty" and "good special effects," and "can they do fireworks next?" Dr. Cho Min-ho decided it was time for another attempt at communication. He opened a channel to the alien fleet. "This is Dr. Cho. Thank you for the demonstration. Your plasma cannon technology is quite sophisticated. We would like to invite your engineers to share technical knowledge with our scientists." The response from Vorthak was sharp and angry. "Human Cho, we did not demonstrate technology for your entertainment. We showed you our power. Why are you not afraid?" "Why should we be afraid of technology?" Cho replied. "Technology is wonderful. We love learning about new approaches to engineering problems." "New approaches? Our weapons are the most advanced in the galaxy. In your galaxy, perhaps. But technology develops differently in different places. We would be happy to share our approaches with you." There was a long pause. When Vorthak spoke again, his voice was quieter. "What do you mean, share your approaches?" "Well, for example, your plasma cannon is very well designed, but we solved similar problems using quantum field manipulation. Much more efficient, and it doesn't require such large power systems." Another pause. "You have quantum field weapons?" "Oh, we moved beyond weapons decades ago. We use quantum fields for construction and manufacturing now. Much more useful than warfare." On the Coalition, flagship Vorthak's science officer was working frantically at his station. "Sir," he said, "I am detecting quantum field generators throughout the human solar system." "How many?" Thousands, sir. Maybe millions. They appear to be using quantum technology for basic industrial processes. Vorthak felt his crystal skin growing dim. This was a sign of deep worry among his people. What else can you detect? Sir, I am not certain. Their technology is so different from ours that our sensors may not be interpreting the data correctly. Best guess. Sir, I believe the humans have technology at least 500 years ahead of anything in the coalition. The bridge fell silent. In all their conquests, the coalition had always been the most advanced civilization. They had never encountered anyone with better technology. Captain Lee Bora was having lunch in the Luna Station cafeteria when she got a call from her friend on Mars. Are you watching the alien fleet? Her friend asked. Hard to miss them. They're hanging right above us. Do they really think we're primitive? Bora laughed. Apparently, they scanned our museums and thought that was our current military. Should we tell them about the Mars shipyards? Not yet. Let's see how this plays out. Her friend giggled. The Titan yards are building 3 new exploration ships this month. Each one could probably carry their entire fleet. Don't tell them that yet, Bora said. They seem nice enough, just confused. Back on the coalition flagship, more reports were coming in from the science teams. Each report made Vorthak more worried. Sir, the human moon is not a natural satellite. What do you mean? It appears to be artificial, sir, or heavily modified. The power readings from inside it are enormous. And their planet? Sir, we cannot get clear readings from Earth itself. There is some kind of interference. Jamming? No, sir, not jamming. More like, the planet is using technology we cannot understand. Vorthak walked to the large window on his bridge. Earth. Looked beautiful from here. Blue oceans, white clouds, green continents. It looked peaceful and natural. But his instruments told a different story. This was not a primitive world. This was something far beyond anything the coalition had ever encountered. Sir, said his communication officer, we are receiving another message from the humans. Put it through. Dr. Cho's voice filled the bridge. Commander Vorthak, we understand you may be feeling confused by our response to your visit. Would you like to meet in person? We can arrange a diplomatic meeting. Perhaps we can clear up any misunderstandings. Vorthak looked around his bridge. His crew members were all watching him. Some looked worried, others looked curious. All of them were waiting for his decision. For the first time in 3 days, Vorthak began to think that maybe, just maybe, the coalition had made a very big mistake. Human Cho, he said slowly, we will consider your offer. It was the first step toward understanding. But Vorthak did not yet know how much he still had to learn. 3 days later, a small shuttle left the coalition flagship. Supreme Commander Vorthak was inside, along with 2 of his senior officers and a science team. They were nervous, but curious. The humans had invited them to Geneva Station for what they called diplomatic talks. Vorthak had agreed to the meeting because his science teams were giving him more confusing reports every hour. The humans were definitely not primitive. But if they were advanced, why did they act so casual about the invasion? Geneva Station looked ordinary from the outside. It was a simple, ring-shaped structure orbiting Earth. Clean white metal, large, windows and docking ports for small ships. Nothing impressive about it. This looks like basic station design, said Vorthak's tactical officer, Zenth. Too basic, replied Science Officer Mokran. I am not detecting any advanced systems. As their shuttle docked, they were met by Station Commander Park Ji-hoon. He was a tall, calm human wearing a simple blue uniform. Behind him stood Dr. Cho, Minho, and several other humans. Welcome to Geneva Station, Park said through the universal translator. We are honored by your visit. Vorthak stepped off the shuttle. His crystal skin reflected the station's lights. Commander Park, we accept your invitation for talks. Excellent. Would you like a tour of our station first? Then we can discuss any questions you might have. Vorthak looked around. The docking bay was clean and functional, but nothing special. Very well. Park led the alien visitors through the station. They saw living quarters, work areas, dining halls, and recreation spaces. Everything looked normal for a space station. The humans they met were polite and friendly, but not particularly impressed by meeting aliens. "Your people seem very calm," observed Zenth. "Why wouldn't they be?" asked Park. "You're guests here." "We invaded your world?" Park smiled. "You announced your arrival dramatically. That's different from invading." In the station's observation lounge, they could see Earth below and the Coalition fleet above. The alien ships were still in formation, still pointing their weapons at the planet. "Are you not worried about our fleet?" Vorthak asked. "Should we be?" Park replied. Before Vorthak could answer, young technician Lee So-young entered the lounge. She was carrying a datapad and seemed excited about something. "Commander Park, sir. I have the transportation efficiency reports you requested." "Thank you, So-young. Our guests were just asking about our defensive capabilities." So-young looked at the aliens with interest. "Oh, are you the ones with the plasma cannon ships? That was a nice light show yesterday." "Light show?" Vorthak asked. "When you cleared away the old mining station. Very pretty beam effects." Park took the data pad from So-young. "Thank you. While you're here, could you show our guests the basic transportation display?" "Sure." So-young walked over to a wall panel and pressed some controls. A holographic display appeared in the air above them. "This shows our standard transportation network," she explained. "Ships moving between Earth, Luna, Mars, and the outer colonies." The display showed the solar system with moving dots representing spacecraft. There were hundreds of them. But Vorthak noticed something strange about the ship designs shown in the display. "These ship schematics," he said slowly. "What type of propulsion do they use?" "Oh, just basic stuff," So-young said. "Quantum tunnel drives, space fold generators, dimensional skip systems. Nothing fancy." Vorthak stared at the display. Zenth made a choking sound. Mokran's scanner began beeping frantically. "Did she say dimensional skip systems?" Zenth whispered. "I believe so," Vorthak replied. Dr. Cho leaned forward. "Is something wrong?" "Your transportation technology," Vorthak said carefully. "It is more advanced than we expected." "This?" So-young looked confused. "This is just civilian transport, basic everyday stuff." "Basic? Well, yeah. The really advanced ships use reality manipulation drives, but those are mostly for deep space exploration." Commander Park noticed that his guests had become very quiet. "Is there a problem?" Vorthak looked around the lounge. It was a simple space, with comfortable furniture and large windows. Nothing threatening about it, but the casual mention of technology that was centuries beyond anything in the Coalition made him realize something important. "Commander Park," he said slowly, "what exactly do you think we are?" "Visitors," Park replied. "Beings from another part of space who wanted to meet us and our fleet. Impressive for your technology level. Good engineering, clean designs. But not threatening?" Park looked genuinely puzzled. "Should it be threatening? You have about 12,000 ships with plasma weapons and energy shields. That's good military technology for your time period." "Our time period?" Dr. Cho stepped forward. "Commander Vorthak, I think there may be a serious misunderstanding here. When your fleet arrived, we assumed you knew about human capabilities. We thought your invasion announcement was a cultural greeting. Some species are very dramatic when they first make contact. It was not a greeting. It was a demand for surrender. Yes, we figured that out eventually. But by then we realized you had scanned our old equipment and misunderstood our technology level." Vorthak felt his crystal skin growing very dim. "What is your actual technology level?" Park and Cho looked at each other. Park nodded. "So-young," Cho said. "Please show the tactical display." So-young pressed different controls. The holographic display changed. Now it showed not just the solar system but nearby star systems, and the ships moving between them. Vorthak saw immediately that these ships were different from the civilian transports, much larger, much more complex, and moving at speeds that should be impossible. These are our exploration and research vessels, Cho explained. We have colonies in 47 star systems now. Deep space research teams in 3 different galaxies. 3 galaxies? Andromeda, the Magellanic Clouds, and one we just call Far Galaxy. The science teams are studying cosmic-level phenomena. Zenth was staring at his scanner. Sir, he whispered to Vorthak, these readings cannot be correct. What do they show? The ships in this display. Sir, each one appears to be more powerful than our entire fleet. Vorthak turned back to the humans. Commander Park, Dr. Cho, I must ask you directly, could your people destroy our fleet if they chose to? Park looked uncomfortable. That's not really how we think about things. Please answer the question. Cho sighed. Yes, easily. But we would never do that unless you attacked us first. How easily? One of our patrol ships could disable your entire fleet without damaging your crews, but again, we don't want to do that. We'd rather be friends. The room fell silent. Vorthak looked out the window at his mighty fleet. 12,000 ships that had conquered 16 worlds. Ships that he had been so proud of just 1 week ago. Now he understood why the humans had laughed. Commander Park, he said quietly, we owe you an apology. For what? We came to your world to conquer it. We threatened to destroy your planet. We thought you were primitive beings who needed to be controlled. Park smiled. We figured that out. Don't worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes when they meet new people. But we could have started a war. No, Cho said gently. You couldn't have. You didn't have the capability to threaten us. At most, you could have damaged some of our old museums. Vorthak felt something new. Shame. In all his years as a military commander, he had never felt so foolish. What happens now? He asked. Now, Park said, we have lunch, and we talk about whether your people would be interested in joining the real galactic community. The real galactic community? The one you didn't know existed. There are over 3,000 intelligent species in this region of space, most of them much more advanced than the Coalition. We help coordinate exploration, research, and mutual aid, and they would accept us? If you want to join, but you'd have to give up the conquest business. We don't allow that in the community. Vorthak looked at his officers. They looked as stunned as he felt. We will need to discuss this with our governments, he said. Of course, take all the time you need. Your fleet is welcome to stay here while you think about it. As they walked toward the dining hall, Vorthak realized that everything he thought he knew about the galaxy was wrong. The Coalition wasn't the most advanced civilization. They weren't even close. They were newcomers in a universe far more complex and wonderful than they had ever imagined. And the humans, who had every right to be angry about the invasion threat, were offering to help them find their place in it. The dining hall on Geneva Station was designed to welcome beings from many different worlds. Tables could adjust their height. The air system could provide different atmospheric mixes. Food printers could create meals for almost any biology. Vorthak sat at a table with Commander Park and Dr. Cho. His officers Zenth and Mokran sat nearby with other human diplomats. The meal was simple but good. The conversation was more difficult. I must understand, Vorthak said. Why did you not tell us immediately how advanced you are? We thought you knew, Park replied. Most species do research before they visit another world. We assumed you had studied human capabilities. We did study you. Our scans showed primitive technology. Dr. Cho sipped his tea. What you scanned were our historical displays, museums, tourist attractions. We keep examples of old human technology so people can learn about our past. So when we saw your old ships and weapons, you thought they were current military equipment? Yes. Vorthak felt embarrassed again. We should have done deeper scans. Probably, Cho agreed. But don't feel too bad. It's an easy mistake to make. Engineer Park Min-seo had joined them for lunch. She was one of the humans working on the Mars colonies. To be fair, she said, your scans were pretty good for your technology level. You just couldn't detect our current systems. Why not? Different technology base, Our advanced systems use physics your sensors don't recognize. It's like trying to detect radio waves with a telescope. Wrong tool for the job. Mokran, the coalition science officer, leaned forward. Could you show us examples of your current technology? The humans looked at each other. Park nodded. Some of it. The non-classified stuff. Mincio pulled out a small device. It looked like a simple tablet computer. This is a standard work pad. Basic tool that most humans use. She pressed the surface. The device projected a three-dimensional map of the solar system into the air above the table. But this map was alive. It showed real-time locations of ships, stations, and colonies throughout human space. This shows current traffic, Minseo explained. Transport ships, research vessels, construction crews, survey teams. Vorthak counted the moving dots. There were thousands of them. More ships than in his entire invasion fleet. And these were just civilian vessels going about daily. Business. How fast do your ships travel? He asked. Depends on the drive system. Basic transport ships can cross the solar system in about 6 hours. Long-range exploration ships can reach other galaxies in a few days. Zenth choked on his food. Other galaxies in days? The new dimensional fold drives are very fast, Minseo said casually, though they're mostly used for research missions. What about weapons? Mokran asked. You said you moved beyond weapons technology. Cho nodded. About 50 years ago, we realized that the energy we were putting into weapons research could be better used for other things. Exploration, construction, scientific research. But you must have some defensive systems. Oh, sure. Every colony has basic protection. Ships carry standard defensive fields, but mostly we avoid places where we might need to fight. What if someone attacks you? Park looked thoughtful. It hasn't happened in a long time. Most conflicts we encounter now are between other species. We usually help them find peaceful solutions. But what if a species like ours decided to invade your territory? Like you just did? Park smiled. We'd probably do what we're doing now. Talk to them. Try to understand what they really want. Help them find a better way to get it. Vorthak was quiet for a long moment. And if talking failed? Then we'd protect ourselves. But we'd try very hard not to hurt anyone in the process. How? Minseo answered. Disable their ships, transport their crews to safety. Make it impossible for them to continue fighting without actually harming them. You can do that? Sure. It's not difficult with current technology. Vorthak realized he needed to ask the question that had been bothering him all day. Commander, Park, could you show us one of your real ships? Not the old ones we scanned, but a current vessel? Park looked at Cho. Cho looked at Minseo. They seemed to be having a silent conversation. Finally, Park nodded. We can show you one of our patrol ships. Nothing too advanced, just a standard system defense vessel. Where is it? About 50 meters away. 50 meters? I don't see any ships docked to this station. It's not docked, Minseo said. It's cloaked. She pressed her tablet again. Outside the dining hall windows, something shimmered in space. Like heat waves rising from hot pavement. The shimmer grew, stronger. And then suddenly a ship was there. It was beautiful. Smooth curves, no sharp edges, made from some kind of metal that seemed to glow with its own light. It was about the same size as one of the Coalition's cruisers, but it looked completely different. Organic. Alive. That's the Sejong, Park said. Captain Han Woo-jin commanding. Standard patrol vessel. Vorthak stared at the ship. It didn't look like any military vessel he had ever seen. No visible weapons, no obvious armor, no aggressive design elements. What is it armed with? He asked. Armed with? Park looked confused. Weapons. What weapons does it carry? Oh. Well, it has defensive, fields, tractor beam systems, emergency transport capability, medical facilities. But what does it use to fight? It doesn't fight, Minseo explained. It's a patrol ship. It watches for problems and helps solve them. But if it had to fight? Park sighed. Vorthak, that ship could disable your entire fleet without firing a shot. Its defensive fields could stop any weapon you have. Its transport systems could move your crews to safety faster than you could react. But it would never hurt anyone unless they were actively harming innocent people. How is that possible? Different approach to the problem, Cho said. You built ships to fight and conquer. We built ships to explore and protect. After centuries of development, our approach turned out to be more effective. Captain Han Woo-jin's voice came through the station's communication system. Station command, we're receiving some interesting readings from the Coalition fleet. Park pressed a button on the table. What kind of readings, Captain? Their ships are trying to scan us. Very thorough scans. Should I be concerned? No, Captain, our guests are just curious about our technology. Feel free to let them look. Understood. Their science officer seems very excited. At the Coalition fleet, Science Officer Mokran's counterpart was indeed very excited. And very worried. The scans of the human patrol ship showed technology that shouldn't exist. Sir, he reported to the flagship, the human vessel appears to be using controlled singularities for power generation. Singularities as in black holes? Yes, sir. Miniature ones. Completely contained and stable. What else? The hull material is some kind of programmable matter. It can change shape and properties at will. The propulsion system? Sir, I'm not sure what the propulsion system is. It seems to be manipulating space-time directly. Back on Geneva Station, Vorthak was learning more about the human approach to technology and warfare. We learned something important a long time ago, Cho was saying. The most advanced civilizations don't need to fight. They can solve problems in better ways. But surely you've encountered hostile species. Of course, the galaxy is full of young civilizations that haven't learned better approaches yet. What do you do with them? Help them learn. Give them better options. Show them that cooperation works better than conquest. And if they refuse to learn? Park looked sad. Then we protect their potential victims and wait. Eventually, most species figure out that aggression is inefficient. Most species? Some take longer than others, a few never learn, but the vast majority eventually join the galactic community. This galactic community you mentioned before. Tell us more about it. Min Seo brightened up. Oh, it's wonderful. 3,000 species working together. Shared research projects, cultural exchanges, joint exploration missions. Everyone contributes what they're good at. And humans? We're good at solving problems and making friends with difficult people, Cho said with a smile. So we often get asked to help with first contact situations and diplomatic problems. Is that what you're doing with us? Exactly. Vorthak looked around the table. These humans had every reason to be angry with the Coalition. His fleet had arrived making threats and demands. They had pointed weapons at Earth and promised destruction. Instead, the humans had treated them as confused guests who needed help, understanding the situation. Why? He asked. Why are you being so kind to us? Park looked genuinely surprised by the question. Why wouldn't we be? You made a mistake, but you're clearly intelligent, civilized beings. Once you understand the real situation, we're sure you'll make good decisions. But we threatened your world. With ships that couldn't actually harm us, Cho pointed out, it's like a child threatening an adult with a toy sword. The child might mean it seriously, but the adult isn't in any real danger. So you don't see us as enemies. We see you as potential friends who got off to a rocky start. Vorthak felt something warm growing in his chest. Hope, maybe. Or relief. What would we need to do to join this galactic community? Give up conquest as a way of life. Focus on exploration and cooperation instead. Help other species when they need it. Follow the basic rules about not harming innocent beings. That's all? That's enough to get started. The rest you can learn as you go. Vorthak looked at his officers. They were listening intently to every word. We will need to discuss this with our governments, he said. Of course. Take all at 2 weeks later. The mood in Earth's solar system had completely changed. The Coalition fleet was still there, but now, their ships were docked at human stations. Alien crew members were visiting Earth, Luna, and Mars. Human engineers were examining Coalition technology with great interest. Admiral Kang De-ho stood on the bridge of the human flagship Incheon. It was the first time he had brought out one of humanity's real warships. The alien visitors needed to understand what they were joining. Supreme Commander Vorthak stood beside him, looking out at the stars. His crystal skin was bright and clear, now a sign that he was content. "Your ship is remarkable," Vorthak said. "I am still not sure I understand how it works." "Most humans don't understand it completely either," De-ho replied. "The technology is very complex, but the basic idea is simple. Instead of pushing through space, we convince space to move around us." "And you use this for exploration?" "Mostly. Sometimes for emergency rescue missions. Occasionally for moving entire star systems when they're in danger." "Moving star systems?" "Solar engineering. We helped relocate the Centauri system last year when their primary star became unstable." Vorthak shook his head in amazement. The humans spoke of impossibly advanced projects, as if they were routine maintenance work. Dr. Cho Minho joined them, on the bridge. He had been working with coalition scientists for the past 2 weeks, helping them understand human technology and the galactic community. "How are the integration talks going?" De-ho asked. "Very well," Cho replied. "The coalition governments have voted to abandon their expansion plans. They want to apply for associate membership in the galactic community." "Associate membership?" "A trial period. They'll work with established members on peaceful projects, learn how the community operates, prove they're serious about changing their approach." Vorthak nodded. "It is a wise system. We have much to learn." Commander Yoon Bo-kyung arrived with the latest reports from the coalition fleet. She had been serving as the human liaison officer, helping coordinate between the two groups. "Status." "Report," De-ho requested. "All coalition ships are now equipped with standard galactic community communication systems," Bo-kyung said. "Their crew members are completing cultural orientation programs. No incidents of hostility or misunderstanding in the past week. How are they adapting? Better than expected. They're particularly interested in our scientific research methods. Several coalition scientists have requested to join exploration missions." This was good news. The transition from conquest-based civilization to research-based civilization was often difficult. But the coalition species seemed to be managing it well. "What about their military culture?" Cho asked. "Changing rapidly. When they understood that their mighty fleet was actually centuries behind current standards, most of their military pride dissolved. Now they're more interested in learning than fighting." On the coalition flagship, Science Officer Mokran was having the most exciting time of his life. He was working with human engineer Kim Hana, learning about dimensional physics and reality manipulation technology. "The key insight," Hana was explaining, "is that reality is much more flexible than most species realize. Once you understand the underlying mathematics, you can convince the universe to work differently in small areas. And this allows faster-than-light travel, among other things. We use similar principles for manufacturing, construction, even agriculture." Mokran looked at the equations on the display screen. They were beautiful, but completely beyond his current understanding. "How long would it take my people to learn this?" "For basic applications, maybe 50 years. For advanced work, a few centuries, but don't worry. The galactic community is very patient. Everyone learns at their own pace." "And you would really teach us, even though we threatened you?" Hana smiled. "Of course. That's how the community works. Everyone shares knowledge. Everyone helps everyone else advance." On Earth, the situation had become a global celebration. The invasion had turned into the biggest cultural exchange in human history. Coalition beings were visiting museums, attending concerts, and learning about human art and literature. Zhang Hiejin was working as a tour guide, showing alien visitors around Seoul. Today's group included several Nexari like Vorthak, some multi-armed, Kelthi, and a few energy beings called the Vrin. "This is one of our historical districts," she explained as they walked through a traditional market. "These buildings are over 500 years old. We preserve them to remember our past." A young Nexari raised her hand. "Why do you preserve old things? They are not efficient." "Because they remind us where we came from, and because they're beautiful." The Nexari looked puzzled. "You value beauty over efficiency?" "We value both. The most advanced civilizations learn that beauty and efficiency can work together. They stopped at a food stall that was serving traditional Korean dishes alongside new fusion foods designed for alien visitors. The smell of cooking food filled the air. "Your people seem very happy," observed one of the Vrin, its energy form flickering with curiosity. "Even though we came to conquer you, you treat us as welcome guests." Heejin smiled. "Why should we be unhappy? You made a mistake, but now you're our friends. We're getting to learn about your cultures and share ours with you. This is exactly the kind of thing humans enjoy most." Back in space, the first joint human coalition mission was being planned. They would explore a distant nebula that contained unusual energy formations. Human ships would provide transportation and advanced sensors. Coalition scientists would contribute their knowledge of plasma dynamics and energy field theory. Captain Lee Bo-ra was commanding the human exploration vessel Hanbok for this mission. Her ship was paired with the Coalition research vessel Bright Crystal, under the command of Captain Vorthak's daughter, Xanth Ara. "Systems check complete," Bo-ra reported to both ships. "Ready for dimensional fold." "Coalition vessel ready," Xanth Ara replied. Her voice carried excitement. This was her first journey beyond her home galaxy. "Fold space on my mark," Bo-ra said. 3, 2, 1 mark. Space twisted around both ships. Reality folded itself into new configurations. In less than a second, they had traveled 50,000 light-years. The nebula spread before them in all its glory. Streams of colored gas and energy danced through space. At the center, something that might have been a natural phenomenon or might have been ancient technology was generating patterns of incredible complexity. "Beautiful," whispered Xanth Ara, "and scientifically fascinating." Bo-ra agreed. "Let's see what we can learn." 3 months later, Admiral Daeho was hosting a farewell ceremony for the Coalition fleet. They were returning to their home systems to begin the long process of transforming their civilization. But they were not leaving empty-handed. They carried new technology, new knowledge, and new friends. More importantly, they carried a new understanding of what advanced civilization could be. "It has been an honor," Vorthak said as he prepared to board his shuttle. "We came here as conquerors and leave as students." "The best students become teachers," Daeho replied. "We look forward to learning from you as well." "What do you mean?" "Your species has qualities that humans admire. Strong sense of duty, excellent organizational skills, beautiful artistic traditions. Once you focus those qualities on exploration and cooperation instead of conquest, you'll contribute wonderful things to the galactic community." Vorthak's crystal skin glowed brightly. "You really believe that?" "I know it. We've seen it happen, with hundreds of species. The transition from conquest to cooperation always reveals new strengths." As the Coalition fleet prepared to depart, representatives from dozens of other species arrived to welcome the newcomers. The galaxy was a big place with room for everyone to grow and learn. Dr. Cho stood on Luna Station watching the ships prepare for departure. His assistant, young engineer Lee So-young, joined him at the observation window. "Do you think they'll really change?" she asked. "They already have," Cho replied. "The hard part is over. They've admitted they were wrong and asked for help. Everything else is just details. What if other aggressive species arrive? Then we'll help them too. That's what the galactic community is for." So Young smiled. "It's a good system. The best we've found so far. And it keeps getting better as more species join." As the last Coalition ship disappeared into hyperspace, Earth's solar system returned to its normal peaceful routine. Ships moved between planets carrying passengers and cargo. Research stations continued their work. Children played in parks and dreamed of traveling to distant stars. The invasion had lasted only 3 weeks, but its effects would last for centuries. The Coalition would spend generations learning new ways of thinking about the universe and their place in it. Their transformation would inspire other aggressive species to consider different paths, and humanity would continue doing what they did best, making friends with difficult people and helping them find better ways to solve their problems. Admiral Kang Dae-ho returned to his quarters and made a final log entry about the incident. Personal note: he dictated. The coalition invasion attempt has been resolved peacefully. Former enemies are now partners in exploration and research. No shots were fired, no lives were lost. This outcome,